Hey, I'm Kirk Harnack. It's This Week in Radio Tech. We're live at NAB 2012. Well, if you're watching this, I guess you're not watching live, but we did it live. We got some great guests, and Chris Tobin is with us live from NAB 2012 on This Week in Radio Tech next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiRT.
Bandwidth for This Week in Radio Tech is brought to you by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This is This Week in Radio Tech, episode 125, recorded April 18th, 2012, live from NAB. This Week in Radio Tech is brought to you by Axia Audio and the new Radius IP audio console on the web at axiaaudio.com. Hello and welcome. It's time for This Week in Radio Tech. I'm Kirk Harnack, your host. I'm so glad that you could join us, especially joining us where we are today. We are live at the NAB in Las Vegas, Nevada, where they have the NAB just every year for years and years now. The NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters, and it's radio and TV. And even though I'm on TV with you, I'm mostly on the radio side. So that's what the next couple of hours are going to be focusing on. Radio technologies, new things that are coming about, new associations, new agreements, and a little bit of new technology. And we're also going to discover some things about older technology, too. So let's jump right into it. My co-host with me here is Mr. Chris Tobin. Good morning.
Good morning.
I've hardly gotten to say hello to you.
It's been a very busy show.
Yes, it has.
But it's been fun.
Yes,
I'm having a good time.
Yeah, you look great.
Why, thank you.
You look
You're
great.
looking
The
pretty
best
good
dressed
considering-
engineer in radio.
Considering what you guys have been going through, you're looking good.
Yeah, which segues wonderfully into my next subject.
Here we go. The segues continue.
That's right. We have as our next guest here on This Week in Radio Tech, Randy Hall. Hi, Randy.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing fine.
Also known as K7AGE.
That's it.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
Morning. How's it going?
I'm great, and I want to remind our viewers who haven't heard about this yet that the way that I met you was a little bit less than a year ago. August. I'm in a hotel room in Petaluma, California, and I am going to take a general class FCC license for an amateur radio that morning.
Right.
And I haven't had a chance to study until that morning. My test is in an hour and a half.
Cram.
Time to cram, right? And so I have Leo Laporte lent me his book that Gordon West wrote, with all basically test questions and answers with explanations. I don't have time to go through this whole thing. I need to look up the parts that I know I don't know.
Right.
Okay. So I start, and I run across a technology called PSK31. I've heard of this, but I don't know all about it. I thought, man, I'm really interested in that. So I get on the laptop, get on YouTube. I want to find a tutorial about PSK31. So I type that in, and there's one there with a bunch of hits. I thought, okay, it must be good. I'll watch that. Yeah. So I watched this video about PSK31 technology, and it, in 7 or 8, 9 minutes, the guy walks me through the whole thing. I didn't really pay much attention to who the guy was, what he looked like.
Guy,
sure,
yeah.
Just this guy. Just this guy.
Just this radio guy.
So get in the car, drive to the TWiRT brick house, the brick TWiRT house, whatever it is, and go in the door, and there's the guy. He's right there.
And you come up to me and go, Randy, you're the YouTube guy.
Yeah.
I'm just watching you.
So, are you making a business out of this, or how are you? What's your motivation for making educational videos on YouTube where you tell engineers about the technologies they need to know about?
I kind of got started doing different things on there. And my first video was just a tour of my ham shack.
Ah, okay.
So I had a little camera and I shot a bunch of stuff. Then I got an airplane and went to Beijing for one of these types of shows there.
Yeah.
And when you go through that much time zone difference, you need things to do at 3 o'clock in the morning when you wake up. So I had the camera and I had a FireWire card. I had no idea what I could do with this thing, and I plugged it into the laptop, and Windows Movie Maker popped up and said, would you like to import the data, the clips.
Yeah.
I go, okay. So I brought it all in, and I pieced it together and put a little sound effects on it, and I posted it up on YouTube. And I come back the next day and look, there's 250 views. And it just kept going up. So then I started doing a lot of the early videos of just me operating, working different DX stations and kind of putting a map up and some of this type of stuff. And some of it was originally just the webcammer, so it looked really poor and poor audio, but the views kept going up. Then I did the PSK one. And I found out that the people really enjoy the videos how to do something, where they can learn something new. In the PSK series, there's 5 of them posted up there, as well as the satellite series, where I show people how to work through the ham satellites. Those have well over 100,000 views now. The total is about 2.1 million, and with over 6,200 subscribers.
Wow. So over 1 million views of your various one. If you aggregate, over 2 million views.
2.1, yes, total. Yeah.
So you understand a lot of different technologies because you're very interested in them yourself.
Yeah.
And it's your passion apparently to help other folks understand what you know about them.
Yeah, and that's been the ones I really like to do now, which I haven't done very many recently, is the ones I show people how to do things. And it ends up being kind of a large project, time you get it all planned out and shot and put together. I know how much work George does every week for the Ham Nation show, so it requires a lot of time to do it right. But I have some more ideas. The one I want to do next is one basically resources for people who want to become hams, where to go. So like go to the ARL site, their books and things, the Gordon West books. There's a fellow, I forget his name now, has a whole series of YouTube videos about each one of the sections in the license manual.
Oh, okay.
Jerry KB0BIK, I believe, has the same type of thing as an audio podcast. I want to pull all those resources together to direct people who want to get their license. Here's some places to go look.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I want to do next.
Well, I'm excited about people like you and other allied technologies. If you need to know about something about I mentioned SIP telephony.
Yeah.
But if you need to know about something about servers or about clustering computers together, there's an amazing amount of stuff on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And you really turned me on to the value of learning from YouTube.
Thanks.
So have other people like Salman Khan, right, who does the whole Khan Academy stuff. So if I need to review quadratic equations, well, then they're right there.
Right.
Or covalent processes in chemistry.
Right.
But broadcast engineers can stand to learn a lot about these allied technologies, computer servers. Not that we have PSK31 in broadcast, but there are other RF technologies and power amplifiers and antenna technologies that you can learn from by watching these YouTube videos.
And something else I end up helping a lot of people with is how to troubleshoot things, because now they're trying to get their PSK stuff working. So I get emails almost every day, how do I do this, or I'm having trouble with this interface. So that's a constant feedback circuit they're going.
So when you do a YouTube video, do you expect to be the support department then for that concept?
It can work out that way. That's one of the reasons I haven't done an Echo Link.
Oh yeah.
Because setting up the firewall ports, on your router and stuff. And George has just done that on one of the Amateur Logic things. And I said, it'll be interesting to see how many emails for support you get. Because I watched the Echolink mailing list, and that's always a constant.
People ask about port forwarding?
Yeah.
That's a great subject, and that's been a subject. Fortunately, I'm fairly familiar with that concept. I've been doing it for a long time to access computers in American Samoa. Since we own a radio, we own 2 stations there. We have to access a number of different computers, and if you just install, VNC or PC Anywhere on a computer, you're not going to be able to access remotely without opening up ports.
Right.
And because it's not one of these rendezvous server-based programs. So that was a thing that I learned about early on. Well, it turns out that for so many things that broadcasters want to do and need to do, you need to understand the concept of ports and how to forward ports. Companies like Comrex and Telos are making it easy to use devices without forwarding ports by using external rendezvous servers. But yet you get better performance in many ways if you go ahead and get that direct connection. So if you're interested in that, I'm passionate about that subject because it's so important for broadcasters. And there are already videos on YouTube about how to do this, what the concepts are, and how to actually get it done.
Yeah, it's like I had to dig into that more for myself because I had a video about remote controlling my radio station.
Oh, yeah.
So I use LogMeIn to get to the PC, but I have to turn the PC on. So the PC I had at that time, you could set the BIOS so it would turn on with power.
Okay.
So I bought a 8-outlet power strip that each outlet is controlled via a internet connection.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
And so it basically has a web server in there. So you have to connect to it to the IP of your router, then colon and the port that you forward on through. Of course, now the trick is, what is the IP address for your router?
Then you've got the dynamic IP type services.
Right, because something happens, and so I have the no IP running on a computer that's up all the time.
Yeah.
Just so I know how to find the other computer.
Well, and now there's routers that have that functionality built in too.
Yeah.
So you can have the possibility of not having to leave a computer on and still getting the IP address updated via a service in the router.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you go through the show floor here, and anything that has knobs or display on it probably has an Ethernet port.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
And if you want to be able to control that inside the building, usually not a problem. But if you want to control it from externally, either it's got to run through a rendezvous server, which opens up ports like that, which there can be some security issues there.
Sure.
Of course, just opening up a port, there can be a security issue there. And I know I harp on this subject all the time. But if, for example, I keep using PC Anywhere as an example. If PC Anywhere wants you to open up port, 5610, don't do it. Change it to a different port number, something random and high, like 59,267, and tell PC Anywhere to use that port and open up that port on your router and forward it, and then voila, you are more secure from the script kiddies than you would be using the standard ports.
Right. So,
wow,
cool.
Well, Randy, it's great to have you on the show.
Okay, well, thanks for having me by. And
is there anything else that you'd love to talk about? Anything else you're passionate about?
I don't know what your time is. Oh, you're just about out, so you have
we're a couple minutes
to wrap up here. So, So thanks for having me on. I'll see you tonight.
Folks, yes, at the Ham Reception.
At the Ham Reception.
And there is also a TWiRT meetup at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
At the Telos stand.
I will be there.
Also, if folks want to meet Randy online via his YouTube videos, go to YouTube. And you can search for him easily by typing in his ham call, which is K7AGE, Kilo 7, Alpha Golf Echo, Kilo 7. There we go. Yeah, hello. K7AGE. And lots of good videos there from...
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Take it out. Just make it time. Thanks again, Randy.
All right.
Appreciate you very much.
We'll see you tonight.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Randy.
You're watching This Week in Radio Tech, and we're just about to wrap up this episode that's been going on for 2 hours. We've been here for 2 hours, Chris?
2 hours, yes.
Goodness gracious.
Absolutely.